Hey, you guys! Hello, hello. It's that time of day again. You are hanging with Langan. Very excited. I have my friend coming on air with me all the way from St. Petersburg, not Florida, Russia. And we're going to introduce him in a moment, Igor Meerson. So excited. But first, let's do a little bit of the business. I want you to look at the video, and I would like you to start a watch party. That's all you do. You'll see a little purple popcorn thing, and it says, watch this video with this group. All you have to do is just share it. Just click it and say, hey, we're hanging with Langan. You're going to meet a really, really cool guy from Russia. And they're going to say, oh, wow, thank you so much. And if you can't do a watch party, just share it. This is growing the group. We're getting a lot of cool people watching from all over the world. And this just in, a week from Monday, I have the legendary Tom Dreesen joining me 50 times plus on Letterman, one of the first original comedy duo, black and white team of Tom and Tim. It's just going to be incredible. He opened for Sinatra for 13 years. So that's next week. Start a watch party. Also want you to know, I love seeing your comments. I can see them on my iPhone, of course, but I do want to see you here on StreamYard, which is what I use now, which I love. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Just click on the blue button and then I'll be able to see you. And you don't have to do it every time you watch, just once. And if you don't want to, you don't have to at all. Did you start your watch party? Did you? Are you doing it? That's right. I see Donna, Blackburn, Einhaus, Janice Garcia, others watching. Share, share, share. It's only fair. It shows you care. And today's show is sponsored by Jimmy Tingle, the comic, and he's hosting a tribute to Barry Crimmins, the Ding Ho tribute on July 3rd, and you can get tickets. Go to jimmytingle.com. Just scroll down on his homepage. You will see on the show will be Paula Poundstone, Stephen Wright, Dennis Leary, and the money goes to Barry's widow. So there you have that. I think we are ready to get this party started. You do know how to support the show, of course. I bring it to you free Monday through Friday, but if you're so inclined, you can you may support at PayPal or Venmo. You know, I always appreciate it. And of course, we do have the store, all of your Don't Make Me Hate You items right there for you to wear, to express that you're all about love to everyone you meet. You don't want to hate them. They make you hate them. You are a victim. All right, you guys. So I'm going to play a clip of my friend. What you have to understand, Igor Meerson, coming live in just a moment from St. Petersburg, Russia. He learned English, and he's been doing comedy in English for just relatively a short time. So I'm going to open with a clip of him. Here we go. We'll hear this one first, and then I'll bring him in, and you will get to meet the fine gentleman. All right, let's hear this.
Even my friends from US, they say, you don't have any democracy in Russia. The only choice you have in Russia is Putin or Putin. And that's true. They say, in America, we have a real democracy, and anyone can become a president here. That's true, yeah. Just yesterday, I watched a new interview by Donald Trump. And you know what? Fuck democracy.
And there we have it. There is my friend Igor Meerson, all the way from St. Petersburg, Russia. Thank you for being here.
Yay, my friend. Hello. Such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. It's just incredible. I've been trying to get you on with me for a while.
I have to say that I'm not there. Unfortunately, I'm not there. Like this online connection helps a little bit, but I wish I was there, but I'm here.
It's hard to hear you. I want to make sure we get a really good connection. It's a little, I wonder if without your earbuds, if it might be a little better. You want to give that a whirl?
Let's try like this.
That sounds very good, Igor.
Yay!
So, all right, a lot to talk to you about. First of all, you have only been doing comedy in English for how long?
For 5 years, maybe, something like that.
I performed with you in Switzerland, in Montreux, Switzerland.
Yes.
And that's when I
Good
first.
old times.
What a great time, right? I never had.
Yeah, with the borders open.
With the borders open, exactly. You killed it, and it was one of the first times you ever performed in English.
Not really true. I can pretend that it was my first time, but in fact, I did the whole run of Edinburgh Fringe Festival before that. So
no, I said one of the few first times. You've only been doing it 5 years, and that was 4 years.
Yeah. So I did like all the Fringe Festival, like 30 shows in a row, and then Switzerland came. Yeah.
Well, when you do Edinburgh, you've done the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the Johannesburg, Montreux, Switzerland, and I've done all of those too. And you meet such a cast of characters like yourself. I understand you're one of the top 5 comics in Russia. How many comics are there in Russia?
It is a very good question. Yes, it's not really difficult to be one from the top 5 when you have 6 comedians in the whole country. Well, let's say like this. I'm from the very first wave of stand-up comedians. So we had no stand-up comedy as a genre in Russia at all, like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, there were 4 of us when we started this in whole country with 150,000 million people. There were 4 of us. 15 years ago. But now I have to say that when stand-up entered TV is still really influential in Russia. So when stand-up comedians became TV hosts, TV comedians, TV celebrities, all the young generation decided that this is I don't know if you have this idiom in English. In Russian language, we call it social elevator. You know what I mean?
A social elevator?
Yes, like a lift, a social lift, like a very easy and very fast way for your career.
So what
we have this idiom: social lift, social elevator. So all the young generation, like guys of 20 years old and even younger, then they watched us on TV, and they decided they want to be stand-up comedians because they want to be on TV, because they want to earn money doing nothing, because they think that being stand-up comedian means doing nothing. So now, this is why this question is very difficult for me, because now we have like thousands of stand-up comedians in Russia, but it is a very young genre. So they perform in small bars all around the country. So it is a very, very young thing.
That's what I was going to ask you, Igor Meerson, my comedian friend. Are there any comedy clubs, or are you just working out at bars? How did you grow your comedy over 15 years if it wasn't
Yes, really... we have no special venues. We have no stand-up clubs or bars. As I say in my show, it is forbidden to have fun in public places in Russia. but I think this is the story of stand-up all over the world. I think you had something like this in US, maybe in late 60s or 70s, 1970s. I mean, we were and we are performing in restaurants, in some food places, with a small stage if we are lucky. I mean, it was during these 15 years. Now we can have some live shows on a theater stage and so on. So now everything is much better. But the very first place for comedy, for my comedy and for comedy in Russia at all, it was a strip bar, striptease venue.
It was a what?
Striptease venue. Striptease.
50s venue?
Striptease. With naked girls dancing.
Oh,
how do you call
it? Okay, so strip clubs. That's where
strip club. We were performing in between of these girls dancing. That was my early steps in comedy.
Hysterical. Oh my God. So are there any clubs at all in Russia? In St. Petersburg?
Now, this year, I mean, before before Corona times,
Yeah.
I have to be honest, and we have now we can say that we have two special venues in Moscow, and one special venue in St. Petersburg. That's all for all the huge Russia.
It used to be called Leningrad, wasn't it? St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg is Leningrad. Yes, this is my country. I was born in Leningrad. I'm old enough.
Igor Meerson, St. Petersburg, Russia, not Florida, coming to us live today. Hey, I wish he had a YouTube channel. Oh, he does. Go to Propaganda Show on YouTube and you can watch Igor's show. We're building his US following. And you guys, I mean, this guy, he's really good. I've watched him perform live in English. For the first year he was doing stand-up in English and he killed it. We were in Montreux, Switzerland. It really was a friggin' fantastic experience. So you can follow him there, and his name is Igor Meerson. We have a lot more to talk about, but I just, can I play another clip?
Oh, with pleasure.
Meyerson, look at me. I'm so technical. Everything's working out so much. It's so insane trying to do all this. All right. So here's another clip. I believe you were at the Johannesburg Festival. Great festival. Here we go.
It's ridiculous. What Russian, if Russians had hacked American elections to help one candidate, then Putin would have won there, This is how it works at home. What Russian hackers are you talking about? I'll tell you guys. In Russia, we have 70 million people with no access to internet at all. The good quality Wi-Fi is only in McDonald's. What hackers are you talking about? Okay, I know Russian hackers, okay? Both of them. And Ivan and Nikolai did nothing to American elections.
All right, so very interesting. I want to talk about the stereotypes versus the reality here in America. Igor Meerson coming to us from Russia.
Sure.
So, you're supposed to be a democratic federation, whatever the hell that means. But I mean, the word democratic's there. We think that you cannot speak freely in Russia. We think that you're always being monitored. How true is that or not true?
Okay, first of all, let me explain the Democratic Federation.
Please.
Because less than in 1 month, we will have a so-called referendum, which we definitely know the results of. Yes, and this referendum will make our president like, how to say it in English, like a whole life president, like a monarch, like it's like a king.
No term limits. Like there's no.
No limits. Yeah, no limits at all. So in 1 month, we will become a monarchy. In fact, yeah.
Is the referendum to say that the president can stay in power
forever? Yes.
This is what you're voting on?
Yes. How do you like that?
And what were the limits before? Was it 8 years, 6 years?
It was 4 years.
Oh,
Then we had a referendum, and it became 6 years. And now we have a new one, which will allow him to stay in Kremlin with no limits at all. Yeah.
I think we're going to have something in the U.S. very soon. I have a feeling that's going to happen here, but before November.
So that what I wanted to say about our democracy here. And if you are asking about any censorship or something like that, it's an interesting story. We are rather free to say whatever we want. If it is a stage like of a bar or of a theater, small theater stage, we can do whatever we want. But if we want to go on TV, then you will get some censorship because almost every broadcasting network in Russia is owned by the government.
So could you go on one of your stage shows, not on television, off of television? I mean, even here in the U.S., you can't say, well, certain channels, of course, cable, but the mainstream networks, your language has to be watched. You can't say certain words. You can't.
Well, yeah, I understand. Swearing isn't the thing, but
Right.
I will say my thoughts. I'm blamed by my British agents. They do not allow me to say this, but I will do this because I'm an honest guy. So my idea is that Western world has the same censorship, but you call it political correctness. You have the same number of topics, the same number of things you can say as we have, but it's another things. Some you don't want to offend women, you don't want to offend some race minorities, you don't want to offend some sexual minorities.
Yeah, right,
So
right. You have the
in Russia we can't offend. We even have this law, like official state law, that we have no right to say something offensive for religious people of any religion.
Oh, you have a law about that.
Yes, we have a law. You can go to jail, or maybe it's big, huge penalties, maybe, I don't know. But it's a law. You can say anything offensive.
Can you make fun of Putin?
The same thing in a restaurant, in a club, in a theater, on a theater stage, you can.
No problem.
On TV, no. On TV, on TV, I had a very funny case because we had a stand-up show on Russian television for main Russian entertainment channel. This TV channel is purely entertainment. They have no news shows. They have no, you know what I mean, no information, no news. They have only entertainment content.
Yeah.
Yes, and we had a stand-up show, and I had a joke with Putin mentioned there, but not in a bad way, like very neutral. He was just mentioned, and then I'm watching our episode on TV, and it was edited. It was cut out. I'm calling the chief editor of the broadcasting network, asking, "Hey, what's happening? That was a funny joke." And he says, no, just in case, not mentioning him at all. No. Yes, just in case.
Can you tell us the joke?
I don't remember. It was
so
far.
Jokes you've written. You have no time to remember all of this. Igor,
I'm not scared. I have to say, I'm not scared. On YouTube, I can. On Facebook, I can do.
You can say anything here, Igor Meerson, and you can follow him on Facebook. That's his name, Igor Meerson, and you can also watch his show. Follow him on YouTube. That's really what.
Yes, please do, guys. Please do follow me on YouTube, because there, you can see I'm really free to say everything I want.
And the way to follow you is the propaganda show on YouTube. Yeah, propaganda.
Yes. Propaganda show.
Very cool. So you say you can't make fun of minorities. What is the big minority groups in Russia? Forgive my ignorance. I do not know.
It's a good question, because Russia is a federation, like it is. We gather so many nationalities. So
right.
Russian isn't a nationality. Russian is a citizenship. But for example, I'm a Jewish, and we have people, right, Tatars who are Muslims, and we have Caucasian region they are Muslims as well, like Chechnya and Dagestan.
It's so vast.
So many religions and so many nationalities, and
you can't
all
make
of them.
Fun of any of those in your comedy. You can't make fun of any of these nationalities.
We can. We have this law only about religion, so we can't offend a religion. They call it to offend a religion, the feelings of a religion person. So we can't offend
their feelings.
Feelings of religion person.
Now, what about anti-Semitism in where you live in St. Petersburg?
What? Sorry?
Is there anti-Semitism?
Anti-Semitism. Another good question. So Soviet Union was really famous with anti-Semitism. because even before that, a Russian Empire was the best one for anti-Semitism, because in Russian Empire, Jews, my grandparents, they were not allowed to live in big cities. They had only a small region where Belarus, now it is Baltic countries and Belarus. So Jews could live only there with no permission to enter big cities at all.
Your grandparents.
Which means, yes, my grandparents, my grandparents.
Your grandparents.
Which means that they have no option, no chance to go to university, because these small villages where they could live had no schools and universities and institutes and
So
colleges.
They couldn't get education.
So yes. So it was in Russian Empire. In Soviet Union, it was better, but this mentality, Russian mentality, still didn't allow Jewish people to build a career or something like that.
And did they leave easily, or were there laws that kept them in place too? Could they go elsewhere? I mean, we have so many Russian Jewish immigrants in the United States. In fact,
but that is the wave of immigration from 70s, 80s, 90s. But before that, Soviet Union was locked with this iron curtain, and no one could escape at all. So even my parents were facing this anti-Semitism. It wasn't opened like a it wasn't a state opened policy, but it was impossible for my parents to get a good job, to get into a good university, and so on. But then my generation, we are lucky. We don't have it now.
You don't have any of it. You know what's interesting? My boyfriend is Italian descent. His grandparents came from Italy. His mother never talked about her background. Her great-grandparents came from Russia, and they were Jewish. And he had no idea until a year ago that he is half Jewish, until 1 year ago.
Wow.
And I did all the research.
When was that? When could it happen? Like in early 20th century.
They came then.
Because I have some relatives who could escape Russian Empire before Russian Revolution. They escaped and went to Palestine and somewhere else. So I have some relatives like that.
Well, what was interesting is I researched and I see the great-grandmother, she's in an organization in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they're having a meeting for Zionists for a homeland, like Israel.
Yeah, I know. I know this. I know all these communities.
They interweave, even though I know Romania was never part of Russia, though I believe they were aligned militarily at different times. So
Romania wasn't, but it was an Eastern Bloc, so-called Eastern Bloc. When we divided Europe after the Second World War, the Eastern Bloc was under control of Soviet Union.
But this was before. This was the late 19th century.
19th century? No, Romania wasn't.
I know, but it's interesting because they will say, some people say Romania on their papers and some say Russia. And I did research and I know they were not this, under part of the Soviet Union, but they were Russia. But some of the reading I did is that they were aligned militarily at a certain time. I don't know. I have to learn even more about that. I can't. One question leads to 8 million more questions.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have this hold on, commercial break. My guest is Igor Meerson, and I know it's insane. Hear ye. My friends that I've performed with, we've done. Romania before World War II was Moldova. Okay, so here's the deal. He is a great comedian from St. Petersburg, Russia, and he will. If you want, these are the kind of great people I'm bringing to you Monday through Friday. The show is free, but if you choose to support, there's PayPal and Venmo. I'm also doing a lot of corporate MC work, hosting the Zoom shows or whatever online MCing you need, because these corporations don't know how to keep their meetings and their events flowing. And it's not stand-up necessarily. It's much more of, just professional. Keep it moving, keep it up in the air. Something goes wrong. So that type of thing. You can always, any of this is MaureenLangan.com, molangan.com. And I wanted to show you, I do have a store, and you can go to my website, molangan.com. I have the masks, Don't Make Me Hate You. I have all kinds of t-shirts, all kinds of styles. And I have a whole thing. I have coasters, all of it. And I want to let you know that this show today is sponsored by, we have sponsors. I have sponsors. And you know what? If you want to sponsor the show, you can, this space could be yours. This could be yours. And so much more. You can sponsor the show here. And I mean, it's all happening. And this show this week, I have two sponsors. One is Bitten by a Zebra. Fantastic, fantastic graphic artist. Bitten by a Zebra, Bob Johnson. He's been doing my work this is what he's done for me over 10 years where I've been working with him, but he's been doing this for 20 years. He, photographer, graphic design. This is a perfect time to update your website, get your graphics going. He's done my Hanging with Langan graphics. Any kind of design, or if you need help or guidance getting your website or some domain names, he can help you with all of that. He really is terrific. BittenByAZebra.com. Also, today's show brought to you by Jimmy Tingle, a fantastic comedian, commentator, politician from Boston. He is hosting a big fundraiser, Ding Ho tribute to Barry Crimmins, who passed away. They're raising money for his widow, July 3rd on the .com. Go to jimmytingle.com. All of it's there for you. Just scroll down to the bottom of his homepage. And Paula Poundstone, Stephen Wright, Dennis Leary will all be on that show. You don't want to miss that. Okay, and back to my guest. Igor Meerson, this is what I do. You can follow him on YouTube. Please go. He really is building his US following. He's got a huge following in Europe and South Africa, and of course, Russia, where he's one of the top.
In Australia.
Oh, you're big in Australia, are you?
No, not really big, but I did some festivals with some high-profile results, let's say.
Well, all right, here's what I want to ask you. Putin, there's a referendum. I can't believe there is a referendum that he will not have to have term limits. This is next month.
Yes. Do you want to know the main trick, the main thing in all this referendum?
The main trick.
The main thing is, and I'm allowed to say this because this is well known, and it's not a hidden truth, hidden secret of Russian politicians. The results of this referendum.
Yes.
The results of this referendum will mean nothing. So everything, because according to gray area in Russian laws, they already have done this, and they say this. They say, okay, we just need this. They say officially from TV channels, main TV channels of Russia. They say, we just want to know people's thoughts. We want to know how many supporters we have. This what referendum will give us. But in fact, we already signed all the documents needed, and he's already a Tsar.
That's insane. So basically what they're saying is, how do you feel about this? And 90% of the people can say, we don't want this. They go, well, too bad. Go at
this. Yes.
Yeah.
This is it.
Okay, I do have to ask this. I mean, this is usually a respite from all the craziness going on in our country right now, but I cannot let it go without asking what, in general, is the feeling toward America and Trump coming from the Russian people?
Oof, a long chat to Uh, Originally, from Soviet Union roots, America is seen as a main Russian enemy, like potential enemy. That's why, for example, when I had my US shows, I had some in New York City, I had like a fantastic reception, like fantastic reaction
Where did you
for
work
my
in New York? Where were you in New York City? Because that's where I live.
different venues, Broadway Comedy Club and some
Ah,
other
yeah.
venues I don't remember.
That's where I work a lot. Yeah.
So my opener, my one-liner, it's not even a joke. It's an open line when I'm coming on stage and
Yeah.
I'm saying hello potential enemies, and it worked
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
and so it means that these stereotypes works on both sides, you know. And
Right.
in Russia we have these stereotype as well. So America is seen as a main international geopolitical enemy,
Yes.
America. But Trump, it looks like Trump is a Russian guy. Like it's okay. Trump is okay. Trump is ours. Okay, we will. He is weird. He is doing weird stuff, but he's doing weird stuff inside America, not outside. So it's okay. We don't like American presidents who are trying to rule the world. Then with not me, but Russia. Russia sees this kind of presidents as potential enemies. But Trump, he is weird inside U.S., so he's good for us, you know.
And so it's to us. Well, not, I can't say to us because there's a lot of people who really support him, obviously, or he would not.
50% or something with it.
I'm not one of those people, but
Me too.
because I read, but it's crazy. Let's not go there. I have to stop reading so I can feel. No, I'm just saying, you know, you see people, they listen to certain channels, they don't look for themselves or read. I don't know. That's my, but they're Republican is different than a Trumpster. They're just different types of people, in my opinion. But I don't want to be disrespectful to people that I love. I'm trying to be respectful. And I
agree.
So here's the deal, though. He lost it for me, well, a number of times, but when he was in Helsinki with Putin and they stood side by side and he kissed Putin's ass at the cost of our American government, I looked at that as traitorous. He said he stood there in Helsinki and said he did not believe our government. He believed Putin because Putin told him he didn't do anything wrong.
Yes. I don't know if it's true, but it looked like that. It looked like that, yeah. Yeah.
Now, did you guys hack our election and are you going to do it again?
Sorry?
Did you hack our election? Did you on the .com? And will you do it again?
Me not. I did nothing to American election. I'm harmless. Harmless. But I'm, look, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if one day the truth comes out that Russia was really involved in U.S. election. I will not be surprised. But I have to say that your politicians nowadays, they are too focused on Russia because I've seen a video like yesterday. Some I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name. But they say that Russians' long hand is seen in your protests nowadays.
Oh,
in African American protests, it's that's ridiculous. For me, that's ridiculous. It looks like Russians in Russia. We have this thing. If we don't know how to solve the problem, we say, America is guilty. We blame America. America pays to all these criminals and blah blah blah. And I see the same thing on your television now.
It's insane. Oh God, it's all so insane. I have a couple more questions for you. I am very fascinated by St. Petersburg. I'll tell you my my thoughts of it, though I've never been there. I mean, I did know it was Leningrad. It was St. Petersburg. Then it became Leningrad. Then it became back to St. Petersburg, I believe.
That's true.
Well, I took a class in college. You could take one class that was not in your major, and you didn't have to, you could either pass or fail it. You didn't have to worry about how high a grade you got. So I took Russia, I don't know, Russia pre whatever. So I'm like studying the Mensheviks, the Bolsheviks. I don't know what was.
Okay, revolution, yeah.
Yeah, all of it. Oh yeah, the Russian Revolution. But so was St. Petersburg ever part of Scandinavia and not part of Russia?
Oh, look, you are my favorite interviewer because your questions are so deep. We can talk hours about that. Because St. Petersburg, look,
never.
St. Petersburg was built in 1703 by Peter the Great, our Tsar, our king, Peter the Great.
Yes.
He just took a point in a map and he said, I need a capital city here. There was nothing here. That was invented. This city was invented because he wanted the capital city here. This is the official story, official history. But I don't know. I think you have that in English segment of internet. You have this alternative history fans, like weird guys who thinks that Earth is flat. You know these people.
Well, we don't believe in science anymore. We used to.
No, you know who am I talking about? You know who am I talking about? Like you know.
Yeah, no more science. We're going backwards.
Like, yes, the planet Earth is flat.
Yes.
America was built by aliens.
Yes.
And all that stuff. And they have like a branch of this fake theory. And that branch says that Peter the Great haven't built St. Petersburg. That it was Scandinavian, like Swedish or maybe pre-Swedish city, and he just took it and blah blah blah. That's alternative history. I do not believe. I believe that Peter the Great did.
Okay, so I'm probably one of those crazy people in Russia who don't believe the truth, but now I believe the truth because I got the source from you. These are just my thinking. I didn't know that. I honestly wasn't sure. The other thing I want to know, Igor Meerson, coming to me from St. Petersburg, Russia, is what is the tone of St. Petersburg? What is the, how New York is very smart and cosmopolitan and many people. I think of St. Petersburg as more liberal, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
It is. First of all, St. Petersburg is the most western city of all Russia. Years, like 100 years ago, it was a capital. Like for a long time, it was a capital. And then after Russian Revolution in 1917, Bolsheviks like Lenin, you should know Lenin moved the capital to Moscow. Before that, St. Petersburg was a capital. So it still has this imperialistic architecture, imperialistic flavor, as Vienna, for example. Vienna. Have you ever been to Vienna?
I have not.
But you can imagine, like what is it? Like Vienna, like Rome, Vienna, like a capital city of huge empire. That's St. Petersburg. That's not Moscow. It's important. But now it's not the capital, and now St. Petersburg is, let's say, culturally owned by the art people.
Artists,
like musicians, painters, theater, comedians, YouTube bloggers, rappers and hip hoppers.
It's hip.
Yes, hip, yes. So it's a mix. It's mix of old empire landscape and like hipster modern life. Very nice place to live.
Would you? I would love to visit there. Now, forgive my ignorance, but how far a train ride is it from Moscow?
Train visit is one night in a sleeping train. Like what is it? 8 hours, I think. 9 hours
On the train.
Yes, but let me tell this
Yes.
to you and to all your subscribers. St. Petersburg is so liberal and so Western and so cultural and so hospitable that we have our own St. Petersburg local law. Now you can visit St. Petersburg, not Moscow. You are asking me how far is it from Moscow, but you can visit St. Petersburg only by boat, for example, from Scandinavia, or by plane, by airplane. For 3 days, you can do this with no visa, no problem. I mean, it is online visa, but it's very easy to get. It's not it's for free, and it's not difficult to get this visa, like online stuff. So you can come to St. Petersburg, spend 3 days, and go back home or somewhere else out of Russia. But you can't go to Moscow. Moscow isn't so hospitable.
You don't like Moscow? It's not worth going to, you think?
Well, it's good. It's an interesting experience. Why not? Because Moscow is a proper Russia with golden churches, golden all that stuff. Everything is golden.
Everything's golden. I get my ass to some festivals. I think there's one in Finland or Norway, and then hop over to St. Petersburg.
Yes, please do. Just let me know. Like 3 days for free, like no visa needed.
Yes. Well, Igor would like you to support him on YouTube. Just all you have to do is click and be a follower. That's all he wants from us today in America.
Please.
The Propaganda Show on YouTube. And I would love for you guys to share this interview. I mean, I keep them, they're up on my YouTube channel, Maureen Langan. They're up on Hanging with Langan. Join my group, Hanging with Langan. I put this on my timeline, but I also, only my shows and everything to do with Hanging with Langan is on the Hanging with Langan page. So support that. I want you to hang with me one more moment, Igor Meerson from, where are you from? St. Petersburg, Russia.
Petersburg, Russia.
I mean, come on, you guys, where do you get this stuff? And I have to let you know, Tom Dreesen is joining me a week from Monday. This man is legendary. He's been on Letterman more than 50 times. He opened for Frank Sinatra for 13 years. He was one of the original comedy black, white men doing comedy in the 60s. Tom and Tim Reed, who's been on so many shows. There's just so much to talk about. And I think sometimes comics only look at who their peers are at that time. And I like learning from the legends. Francois Gordon, this woman continues to support my show. I'm just blown away by her. And coming up, I just want to let people know, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, I am going to be on a Facebook show with my good friend, Jane Condon. Just go to Facebook, Get Wise Her, like Get Wiser, but Get Wise, H-E-R. Very excited to do that. And if you guys want to support the show, again, I have my store, don'tmakemehateyou.com, or you can do, of course, the PayPal or the Venmo. Had a couple of really great sponsors this week. Jimmy Tingle, fantastic comic commentator. He does it all. He will be hosting a tribute to Barry Crimmins, who's gone to God. Barry Crimmins, what an inspiration, a Boston comic, and they're raising money to support his, to go toward his widow. July 3rd, go to jimmytingle.com, Paul, and you'll scroll down. You're going to see that show will be Paula Poundstone, Stephen Wright, Dennis Leary. And another big shout out to my friend Bitten by a Zebra. That's his company, Bitten by a Zebra, Bob Johnson. Reach out to him. This is a good time for you to update your website or get your videos together or your graphics. Tell him I sent you, and he'll give you a really fair price. Igor, is there any message for the American people before you leave? Is there anything you want to impart to us?
Yes, sure. I want you to remember that Russian people and Russia as a country isn't that people that are on top in Russia. I mean, please don't judge Russians on our president, on our government, on our modern modern international attempts to be like new Soviet Union or something like that. Russian people are absolutely the same as you are, like me, like you. We are all the same. So let's have no borders, at least in our hearts.
Well, I will say the same back to you from the American people. Do not judge all of us by what you may see around here. I hope that we're going to be on a festival again. What a pleasure to have you.
I hope to.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? All right, Igor Meerson, mwah, you guys hang with me.
Thank you.
I'll say you say goodbye to the audience, but hang with me. Here you go, you guys. Follow him on YouTube, Igor Meerson, The Propaganda Show. Just go to YouTube and just Google Propaganda Show. Just type that in and you will see him and just follow him. That's all he's asking from the American public. That's it. And that's all he wants from you. And you guys support, just please go to Hanging with Langan and join my group page, because all of these shows are here for you Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. But remember, I keep those shows up there and my YouTube page, Maureen Langan. All right, you guys, until we meet again, a big mwah.